Hello, everybody. It's Christina Marie Weber, and I run a company called Christian Biz Owners on Fire. And we help faith-based and spiritual business owners who want a more fulfilling and prosperous business or ministry while keeping God, their purpose, and their relationships first on a daily basis. So we do a monthly video here at Christian Biz Owners on Fire. We get the topic for the video based on what questions our followers, clients, people of interest ask us, or things that phenomena I notice just across the board with a lot of different entrepreneurs. So today we're going to be talking about 4 steps to fix why your business doesn't work. So I came up with this topic actually kind of prompted me this whole subject. I live in Catholic Nirvana here in Wichita, Kansas. We are very unique in that we have a diocese where anybody who is a member of a Catholic church here and is involved in stewardship of time, talent, and treasure is able to send their children to Catholic schools, which are excellent, for free. And so it's very unique. We have a phenomenal leadership here. And one of the leaders I really love is our superintendent, Janet Eaton. And I heard her present with very unique structure. And basically, it's based on tithing, which is scriptural anyway, not just people that have kids in school, but everybody tithing. And of course, you have more affluent parishes and you have less affluent parishes. So they've come up with a really interesting formula where um, basically the lesser uh, demographic financial parishes kind of get subsidized a little bit by the more affluent ones. It's just a beautiful process. But one of the things she mentioned, trying to bring up the income disparity of the kids in the classrooms, whether they're at an affluent parish or a less affluent parish in school. And one of the things she pointed out, which I thought really ties in with the subject today, is that it's really not just the physical building or that those kids have access to computers or they have the school supplies they need or they have school lunches. It's not just that. The real differential of income happens after school. So, and she gave the example of when you, as a teacher, whatever, have a project, you assign a project to a student, maybe it's a middle school student. I know my kids had to like create a model of a famous historical architecture or whatever. And then she said that's where you really start to see the differential, because in the more affluent home, they'll come home, they'll have this project assigned, and the mom will go, great. Well, let's head out to Hobby Lobby this weekend, or even tonight. Let's go get all the things you need. If you need any help putting it together, just let me know. I'm around, or your dad's here, and we can help you do that. That's household A. Household B is single parent home. Even affording those kind of supplies is a little bit out of reach. Not to mention maybe the mom's working 2 jobs, the kids in latchkey till 5, and then they come home and the mom or whatever, the caregiver is not around and couldn't go to Hobby Lobby, didn't have the money to pay for it anyway. So that's where she said that's the difference. So we really can't adjust for that, but we do need to understand that when you have a different home life, it's going to affect your learning or your ability to implement all of the different things that are designed to enhance your education. Well, it's no different in business. I get a lot of people, myself included, where there's these models presented that are great, but they work better for people with a great support system, very resourced, maybe have a much different experience than another person that is, maybe spread a little thin, or maybe has other responsibilities kind of in their life that's different. Maybe they have a kind of a high maintenance husband that, has employee dinners and they kind of are, expected to attend those. Or maybe they have a spouse who travels periodically and that spouse wants them to go with them. I mean, it doesn't even have to be that you don't have the resources economically. It can be you have a circumstance that may make implementing basically a pretty simple formula for being successful in your business, it might make it very difficult to implement in your life. So that's what we're going to be talking about today is 4 steps why your business doesn't work. So the first thing is to acknowledge if your business really doesn't work. I would consider one of the signs of a business that works is that it's profitable, you're earning more than you're spending, and you're able to take that profit out of the business, and that doesn't require you or anybody else in your business to just work ungodly hours or stress yourself out. That it's a fairly pleasant work process to achieve that profitability to me, and it's something that you feel. I think the bonus and what I do with my clients is really have a business that is meaningful, that they feel like they're really creating, making the world a better place with their business, rather than just something that's really not adding value. It's just kind of loses the motivation of being a profitable business as if it really, or maybe it's harming people, like renting furniture to people who are on the lower income at really high interest rates. I don't know if I would say that that's really enhancing the world, keeping people trapped financially like that. So, uh, those would be my definitions of a business that works. So, we're going to look at 4 steps that you can take when to fix why your business isn't working. So, the first step is stop comparing yourself to others. Especially if you're out there networking or just watching other people's website or just how they act when you go into their brick and mortar business. Nobody's gonna Really very few people are gonna lead with their warts. They're not gonna say, we've had some issues with customer service, or we're burning out our employees, or I'm burnout, or I'm having trouble making payroll. No one really talks about that openly, nor really should they. Um, but what happens is we'll see all this exterior whatever, and it looks great, and then we start to feel bad about where we are in our business. So, um, you know, just realize people are going to put out their negative things, and also they're going to try to paint themselves in the best light. So your struggles, but you're comparing that to somebody's best scenario presentation of their business. So it's just not productive. And the last reason, the thing I would really encourage you to do when you encounter other business owners is use the idea of benchmarking rather than comparing. So if there's certain things about that person or their business that you really maybe feel intimidated by, or could even have a negative feeling of inferiority, but you appreciate that thing that they have, it's great to like use that as a benchmark. Like they're really great at that, like how can I learn from what they're doing, or maybe their talents or genius, or how they set something up that created that part of their business that's very attractive to me and that I would really love to have in my business. I find that a lot more productive. It's a growth mindset, and it's not demeaning you. It's just acknowledging the beauty, good, true, and beautiful things in other people and their businesses, what they've created. So, number one, stop comparing yourself. Number two, know yourself and adjust your timeline. Um, I just kind of really have a thing about pithy advice versus customized advice. Everybody should go out and speak to earn in their business, or everybody needs to do this, or everybody needs to, have this website or whatever. Every strategy doesn't suit everyone. If you've got, if you're randomly traveling because of some other areas in your life, and you don't have a set schedule, it's hard to set up speaking engagements. That would be an example. Or if you're just really not great, like a super big team player, like you don't like managing a big team, rushing out and getting a VA or delegating a bunch of stuff. If that's something you actually don't enjoy and you're not really very good at, that's not necessarily the best strategy for you. Maybe it's a great strategy for somebody else, So again, be really careful about, one size fits all advice or pithy advice or just the standard rule. It always is this. You always need to, if you can hire someone that's earning this and you can earn this, you should always do it. That stuff is really can get you into trouble because it doesn't factor in anything else about you or your needs. The other area is don't let shame should have already mastered everything or starting to feel like there's something wrong with you kick in when you are falling short of your goals. And definitely, if you're comparing, that's really easy for the shame to kick in as well. Be aware that, you haven't already mastered everything. And if you're having an area of problem, which everybody does in their business, the best strategy is to figure out what's the biggest problem and focus on fixing one problem at a time. And there's nothing shameful about that. It's just about how good businesses improve their businesses and make them work. And the other thing, look at your failures or things that you're not doing as well as kind of this experiment. Like, maybe this strategy really fits me better, or I'm more consistent with implementing this strategy than I am of trying to do this. Even if this is the rave and everybody's doing that, if you're not being consistent with it for whatever reason, but you are over here, try to pay attention. Look at yourself as an interesting experiment of what is and is not going to work for you. Obviously there are aspects of your business everybody needs to do to have a successful business. So it's not like you get a pass and you just don't have to sell or you don't have to service your clients, but you can do it in a way that works the best for you. And especially if you're designing the business, you can design it in a way that's going to work best for you. Recognize the trade-offs with quicker results versus slower results. A lot of times we get ourselves into problems when we're trying to move faster than we're really able to do. And a lot of that able to do can depend on your own personal baggage that you might be needing to work through, your other responsibilities, your current industry, maybe it's going through a transformation or change right now and everything's in flux. So again, if being fast is the number one priority, understand there are trade-offs to doing that. And that's okay if you're willing to meet those trade-offs. Like, okay, I'm not going to go to the gym, I'm going to work 12-hour days. I'm okay with that as long as it's, a fast result. Within 6 months, I can be out of that uh, time at work, whatever, it's okay. But if you're not going to pull off 12-hour work days, or you're going to be really grouchy if you eat poor quality food, or, don't exercise or never pray or do anything like that, or don't have any time with your partner. I mean, if you're not going to be okay with that, don't set it up that way. I mean, don't set yourself up for an unrealistic result based on what you actually can give to the position. So that kind of leads into step one, stop comparing yourself. Step two, know yourself and adjust your timeline. Your timeline's really the easiest thing to adjust. You can still move forward, but it might need to happen slower if you want to have some of those other quality of life things in place. And number three is design a business and life structure that fits you, is kind of leading into that just with the previous step. But really here, know your weaknesses, your strengths, and charisms. Charisms are your spiritual superpower. You have like two, maybe three, four, or five really gifts from the Holy Spirit that are just unbelievable. If the more you can know yourself and really maximize what you're doing in your business that uses those gifts, and try to minimize those weak areas as much as possible, whether it's get somebody else to do that or create such a simple system that you can pull it off with minimal time, whatever that is, it's fine to, but that's really what you have to work with. Those are your boundaries, so everybody gets the same 24 hours, but if you can allocate when you're working, how you're working, what you're working on, that maximizes your unique gifts and minimizes your weaknesses, you are going to have your business is going to be more likely to work. Find the zone, be realistic and adjust for your state in life and conflicting priorities so you can set yourself up to win. For many years, had like 3 kids, was a single mom, and I just was not realistic in accepting the demands of that. And I really did, looking back, chose things to do that really weren't that conducive to that scenario. I probably would have been better off dialing things down a little bit and really working with the time I had than trying to play with the big boys and, do things the way people that had a husband, more support at home, more resources than I had. But again, the more realistic you can be about it, like I have one kiddo who's a senior, so I'm really, about empty nest. So I can really look at my work schedule a lot different, how I'm doing things here in about the next 6 to 9 months. So again, you're just frustrating yourself if you're not, accepting this is the situation. If you have a husband that's retired or, whatever, that's may change your environment and how okay it is for you to be working or not working. So be realistic about that because you're just setting yourself up to fail if you don't. And then that gets into some mindset problems. And mindset can be a big factor in if your business isn't working. Um, be realistic. Find the zone of continuous improvement that challenges you, is motivating, and leads you to consistent growth and improve results over time. If you're not picking it up, I'm more on the slow go rather than the quick hit. I'm the turtle, not the hare. So I really do think you get there faster, actually, by being that tortoise, because a lot of times I've done it myself, go too fast and then these balls drop and then you scramble to come back and you're just penduluming, you're not really gaining. So you really want to find that rhythm where, okay, you're just moving at a pace where you can continuously improve. You're still going to have setbacks, but if you're more methodical about it, you can catch it and have things built into your schedule and system where you can see different, assess yourself sooner and your results sooner, you're able to make the adjustments that you need to make, so that you don't slide way back. You just slide back a little bit and then you can still continuously gain. I think that's a better way to do it. So step 4, focus on one revenue stream or area at a time and build boring systems to support and implement your goal. Do not get distracted with the shiny object syndrome. This is a lot of reasons why people fail. They they are creative, they like doing a lot of different things. They're not paying attention to the market so much, and they want to go in a certain area, but the market's not really validating that or enough. It's not enough there that there is willing to support that area. And so they end up spreading themselves too thin. They never fully develop one area, get that rolling. You can have multiple revenue streams or multiple focus areas in your business, but you need to get the whole system for one set up first before going to the next. And I think that's a big source of failure in business owners. And I love the idea of attending to process work rather than process skip. A lot of times we do that. We want to go to the next thing because there are parts of getting this thing to work we don't really enjoy. Gets back to it's not our area. Well, that's okay. And if you have the funds to get somebody else to do that, great. But if you don't, it is your area. If you're going to make it work. And that does take discipline and it does take maybe going to work and not enjoying that aspect of the business for a while until you get it under control or you can hire someone else to do it. Um, when you process skip, you set yourself up for problems. So if you're trying to, you don't really have this revenue stream fully going, now you're trying to do this and you're trying to do that. You're just setting yourself up to fail. So be patient. and be attentive to the process. So to conclude, holistic business and life success, which I'm a big advocate of, is a marathon, not a sprint. So, first of all, check in regularly with your holistic vision. Make sure it's up to date. Make sure something hasn't changed. So, you got that bullseye target really clear where you're going towards. And the only way you fail is to quit. So you may have to pivot, you may have to adjust, but just stay focused on the outcome and you will get there. If you keep going, I'm a big one on perseverance, gratitude, clarity, grit, and discipline, and focusing on your why. Why are you wanting to do this? And it has to be more than just making money, and having control of your schedule. It needs to be a powerful why. If you can just stick with it one step at a time, you will get there. So, in conclusion, I would love to stay connected. So, if if this resonates with you and you'd like to start a conversation about maybe how I could support you, the best way right now to reach me is to catch me on LinkedIn. I do check my messages over there, and you can just search Christina Marie Weber on LinkedIn or Christian Biz Owners on Fire on LinkedIn. Direct message me. I'd love to hear you there. Um, or if you're not quite ready to have that conversation, but you are interested, I've got a free gift that kind of talks a little bit more about my philosophy, kind of gives you more information on, how I tick, how I like to help business owners. And it's a free gift. It's a video training series, actually, and it's called 5 Steps to Create a Sustainable Business, video training for faith-based and spiritual business owners, and it's balancing profit, values, and quality of life. And I put a link below on how to access that free gift. So you have a wonderful rest of the day, and I will talk to you soon.